Ugh, I'm not going to lie to you, this one's going to get a lot of rage, I'm afraid. But here we go. Hello, evening all. Welcome to Kicking Dust. And let me just explain the intro before anybody starts mashing buttons and screaming rage and I don't know, whatever. But let me explain. There's a lot of people at the moment who are really white knighting for CCP over the reskin change. And it's an interesting concept that I really just want to kind of just take devil's advocate on for just one moment. So before you start burning effigies of me, let me just listen to what I'm saying, brah. And no, this isn't the same video as last time. It's just a different map, different round rather, but it's the same map. Anyway, the problem we have at the moment is there's an awful lot of people who seem to just absolutely fall over themselves and enable CCP to pretty much sit back and relax. That's my opening statement. Let me quantify that with some, I guess, some pros. The problem is that when everybody on the forums basically shit talks anybody who talks in a negative way to them, so people who want the reskin tanks and are absolutely pushing and happy for it, then that's fine. But what they're doing is not fine, because they're basically not enabling everyone to have a discussion and a dialogue about it. So the forums just becomes who can shout the loudest. I'm not saying anything new here, but I just want to be very clear. When people enable CCP to do lazy, sloppy design and development like they're doing with this reskin tank stuff, what that and that's my opinion, what that basically happens is if so many people basically just turn around and say, yeah, it's brilliant, oh my god, it's awesome, oh my god, it's great, and yet they don't believe that, or they actually are just kind of just trying to be work at CCP one day, CPM, looking at you bros, there is a reality of the whole problem of not really ever giving CCP good feedback. And to be honest, you can see this with how, dare I say, defensive sometimes CCP get over posts made. I mean, I was talking to an actual game developer last night, and the opinion of it is that they couldn't believe how defensive and emotive CCP themselves get over design decisions made about their game. And it's the sloppy, lazy, when I informed this developer that basically, hey, look, do you know they're actually just going to reskin tanks because they can't put the normal tanks in? There was just a very long silence and a real sigh, because that is sloppy, lazy design. And then the next question asked was, are the community happy with that? And I said, yeah, they certainly seem to be, or a portion of them seem to be. And then the next stage of the thing was just, that is really lazy, sloppy development. And it was almost a shock that this would be something, that would be. For those of you who don't know, Nano Cleric, that was who I was talking to. He is actually a games developer. He's worked in the industry for years and years and years, and he cannot believe that that's what's going on. Anyway, that's your bit of quantitative assessment. Let's move on to maybe what it means. Well, when so many people just white knight for bad decisions, it really does become a bit concerning. And I'll tell you why this is so dangerous to the game, because they think they're doing good. They think by sitting in an armchair quarterbacking CCP and saying, oh, it's a great decision, yeah, let's do it, yeah, this is awesome. What they're actually doing is you're becoming an enabler of very bad design practice, okay? And what's really disappointing is there's so many people who, yes, I want new tanks, don't get me wrong, I actually do want new tanks, but I want them to do it frickin' properly. I don't want them to reskin something just for the sake of it. I would rather wait, I really would. And I think this is kind of the beginnings of an interesting phase in Dust's life, because like I said in the last video, it does feel very much like that'll do. Okay, everything is now just, oh, that'll do. There's only a few people playing, that'll do. And the problem is there's not enough people standing up and being critical to CCP about this. There are too many people who seem to just, basically fanboy. And by doing that, you're damaging the game way more than anybody who's critical of the game. I'll let that sink in for a moment, because that's actually a very important point, and the point of the whole freaking video is that if you just sit there and GG CCP for everything they do, you basically give them license to say, oh, they're happy with this, okay, let's not try any harder, let's just sit back and let them just enjoy a reskin Jove tank, and oh look, you've got drones in now, but no, it's an 8-bit Space Invader sprite. This is not good games development. I'm sorry, it's not. I've never actually seen any game company do what CCP are planning to do with these tanks, and I know it's only a small point, but it's a systemic problem really when you think about it. And I think the reality is it's kind of concerning that they are just of the opinion that, well, the community asked for it and we'll give them what they want. No, that's a real lack of credibility professionally and ethically with a game to, you know, to basically just turn around and say, well, if they want it, fuck it, we'll give them it. And they'll be like, okay, well, give us it and do the proper model for it. Do your job. Do your proper job that we basically pay into this game to see. Okay, not everyone does. But, you know, that's my issue. And I think, to be honest, you know, I'm kind of just surprised that there is such... I mean, Retati's post, I made a post about this, and Retati's reply to me was very matter-of-fact, basically saying the community asked for it, so that's what they get. And my response to him was, well, if that's what you're happy with, good on you, bro. If that's honestly what you professionally can sit there and say as a games developer that you feel is professional, decent, and acceptable conduct and process, then fair enough. Who am I to say yes or no? That's your you know, I can never tell somebody they're doing a good or bad job because it's just my opinion. And that's about it. I think, to be honest, you know, when you look at Counter-Strike Go and Counter-Strike generally, how many tens of thousands of people still play that game? The core game is good, it's great, it's got a good community, and it's relatively well supported, I'd say. Look at how many people played Dust and never came back. That's not good. That's really not good. So I think, you know, if we're trying to find a middle ground where this game can survive, let alone thrive, but survive, I don't see it. And I think, yeah, you've got a huge amount of very dedicated players who will just GG everything that CCP do, and there's nothing you can do to basically say anything. And it's funny, I read my video post comments. I do actually read them. And the amount of people who just don't like that I'm saying something negative about that is interesting to me. And it's basically just, you know, they're just basically trying to defend CCP, and I don't know why, but they certainly are. So there we go. I think it's a very dangerous thing. It is, unfortunately, the doctor that does more harm than good, I think, when people just blindly give CCP license to just basically turn around and put on their whiteboard, fuck it, it'll do. And that seems to be very much the attitude of CCP at the moment, and I think it's disappointing. I think when you look at the way the barge was implemented, lazy, boring, silly, kind of reactionary development based upon, oh look, Clash of Clans looks fun, let's make a mechanic that gives us some money there. I don't mind that they're trying to make money, but do it frickin' properly. Spend some goddamn money and get some good game developers in who can tell you how to make good games, because at the moment I don't see it, I don't feel it. This game feels incredibly reactionary. So all of a sudden tomorrow the biggest craze out there and the biggest meme on the internet is kilts. Yes, Scottish kilts. So everybody in kilts gets loads of views. So all of a sudden then you'll get a kilted dropsuit or some shit like that. And it'll be reskinned and it won't be a new model. You know, that's the problem. Stop reacting and design the freaking game. I really, really do feel that Legion is so overdue now. It's getting, like, really bad. It's getting to the point where you can almost say Legion should have happened a year ago, because I think already they're just pissing off. Anybody who was excited about that concept is kind of a little bit dulled now. And I just cannot believe anybody is excited as they were when they saw it as to today. Because it's just like, okay, well, you said this. You said that we were going to PC. Where are we on that? Okay, that you said that we would never get player trading in Dust. You said that. You did say that to Dust 514. Oh no, look, in a few weeks' time we get player fucking trading. Oh look, you know, you said we'd never get drones, we'd never get this. I can pretty much guarantee you it's probably going to happen, because they won't sign off this fucking game to go to Legion. They just won't. And I think it's so frustrating, and I'm getting really quite sick of it, to be honest. I think the lazy design decisions of the reskin tanks was pretty much the last straw. I let go the whole war barge thing, because to me it was like, okay, at least they're trying, at least they're going to try to put something new in. It wasn't done very well, it was a strange mechanic, and it was really poorly executed. And I think if that's the way it is, you know, fair enough. But then they follow it up with the reskin tanks, and my immediate reaction was, oh my god. But I think, just returning to our topic, the reality is that there's so many people out there who, no matter what CCP do, they could just take a giant crap on a plate and offer it up to you, and you would just turn around and say, oh, it's visionary. Well, GG CCP, retweet, quote, retweet. And it's like, Jesus, grow some balls, you fucker. I just can't believe how absolutely happy with absolute minimum A lot of people are, and I think, you know, you need to play other games. And this is leading me on to a very final ragey finish here, is that a lot of people who play this game have never played other games. This is maybe even, God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this could possibly be the only shooter that a lot of people have played, and they're probably quite good at this. But if they've gone on to other games, they would realize they will suck at PlanetSide 2, H1Z1, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, Battlefield, and so on, because they are games with high refresh rates. They're games with concepts that work with balance. So there's no one I win fit in all cases. Okay, something or other. You know, the reality is that they're constantly changing, shifting, well-developed games that move. This game isn't. It's not going anywhere. It's getting content that's coming to it in a very slapdash way. And the word slapdash is what this game should be called. Slapdash 5-1-4. Because it doesn't feel that they're taking it seriously, because so many of the community on the forum, and I would just cite that only 1% of the population base use the fucking forum, so many people on the forum just backslap and GG Retati in every way, because they probably entertain some weird fantasy that one day they'll work at CCP, because they know that CCP pretty much exclusively recruit from goddamn players who play the game. Need I quote Logibro? Yep, he was a player of the game. Frame, he actually ran a website. He played the game and he ran a website. These are all people that played the fucking game. And now because I don't know, they were backslappers. I don't know. They work for CCP. If that's your reason for white knighting, then seriously, this game is doomed. It's doomed. When people can't just turn around and say this is not good enough, you know, until CCP hear that message on a much better scale, nothing's going to change. You're going to be given that will do development, and you're just going to find yourself getting more and more frustrated at, you know, the fact that so many people white knight and have no real kind of desire to make the game better. And that's the problem. That's my main issue with it. There's just too many people who have very little interest in making the game relatively good. There's a lot of people who want to be, you know, just absolutely positive CCP fanboys, and there's nothing wrong with that, but just be objective and critical with it. You lose credibility when you can't speak your honest mind. And it's just that kind of entourage fanboyism that I think is doing way more harm to the game than good. This is just my opinion. I don't know. You know, I'm not saying I'm right here. I'm just relaying what I see. And what I see is a very worrying, I guess, enabling of CCP to continue with lazy, sloppy, dare I say, slapdash development. And that feels where it's going. I don't like it. It worries me a lot. It's nice to have new stuff and content in the game, but do it properly. Please do it properly, because the moment, and again, you have to think of the credibility image from those outside. So all of the fanboys are inside. Think of the credibility from outside. So you've got like big websites like, you know, psu.com. They're going to look at this game and say, oh, you're adding something new. Okay, let's have a look. And if they see things like reskin tanks, their credibility, CCP's credibility is destroyed by that. So don't enable CCP by fanboyism. There we go. That was fun. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.